This video will provide you with a step-by-step guide to help with filling out the Trust Standard Business Continuity documentation. We will cover two documents including the Business Impact Analysis or BIA and Business Continuity Plan or BCP. We will run through each page by page providing comments on what you will need to input. It is important to note that these documents are templates only and should be amended to suit your service. If you require any further support, please don't hesitate to contact us on epo.mtw@nhs.net. Let's begin with the Business Impact Analysis. The Trust bases its Business Continuity Management Programme on the Business Continuity Institute Good Practice Guidelines. This provides a clear methodical process for implementing business continuity. The stages of this can be seen in the model on screen. The document we will now run through helps to implement the analysis stage of the process by identifying critical functions within your service, which will then be covered in your plan. The front page of your BIA should clearly outline your division, directorate and service. Ensure the version number is correct and updated each time the BIA is reviewed. On the next page, you will find the document governance. This will need to be filled out specific to your service and will need to include a next review date. Business continuity documentation should be reviewed on a yearly basis. There is a high chance that after completion, the pages will have shifted around. Upon finishing the document, update the table of contents by right-clicking, choosing Update Field, Update Entire Table, OK. The next page contains information about the best practice cycle and outlines aims and objectives of the BIA. We won't go through this now, but please ensure you read. Moving on, you'll find the Business Impact Analysis key. You will need to refer back to this key when completing the next page. The next page is the bulk of your BIA and will be the key section linking into your plan. The site is the location that your division directorate service is based out of. If multiple sites, then you'll need to carry out a BIA for each site, as some details may be different. Normal staffing numbers for both clinical and admin. This is the amount of staff within your service should all vacancies be filled and all positions staffed on a single business as usual day. This can be further split up into specific shifts should it suit. Critical staffing numbers is the absolute minimum amount of staff required to run your service at appropriate and safe levels. In this section here, P1 critical to P4 support, you will need to detail what you believe to be your key processes or deliverables in a priority order should a business continuity incident occur. As an example, for a ward area, a P1 activity might be the ongoing care of critically unwell patients, with staff training as a P4 activity. In the essential equipment box, this is the equipment that can't be easily accessible from anywhere else on site and would take a significant amount of time to obtain. Interdependencies. These are a process or provision that directly supports the delivery of your service, which should this become unavailable will have a direct impact on your functionality. In other words, is there an external process or provision that you rely upon to be able to perform your service? You will then come on to analysing your key dependencies utilising the key on the previous page. This is a default list where some may not be relevant and also is not exhaustive. Additional dependencies can be added to this list. For each dependency, you will need to outline the impact of loss over time on a scale of low, medium or high. This will need to be completed across 1 hour, 4 hours, 1 day and 1 week. The MTPD, or maximum tolerable period of disruption, this is the time it would take for adverse impacts which might arise as a result of not providing a product or service or performing an activity to become unacceptable. This should be outlined in hours, days. The RTO, or recovery time objective, is the period of time following an incident within which a product or service must be resumed, or activity must be resumed, or resources must be recovered. This should always be less than the MTPD, as your objective is to recover the service before levels become unacceptable. In the comment section, include any further information about the dependency, and a risk assessment should be carried out utilising the key on the previous page. outline the likelihood of the event happening and severity if it does, both on a scale of 1 to 5. The last 2 pages of the document contain key definitions should you need them. That is your BIA complete. You are now left with a document that outlines key functions, dependencies, and the impact should an incident occur. Remember this as you move on to the BCP document. Moving on to the next document, the BCP. This document helps to implement the design and implementation stage of the process. The purpose of the BCP establishes an emergency response procedure to deal with an incident that affects a service's activities to ensure that it has the minimum possible impact on the trust operation. Like the BIA, the front cover of BCP should include the division, directorate and service in which this is for and version number updated. The red immediate activation box will need to be amended upon completion of the document as pages may have been moved around. The page you will need to refer to will become clearer. Again, the BCP includes document governance. Fill it out specific to your service and include the next review date, which remember should be reviewed on a yearly basis. Again, the table of contents will need to be updated upon completion of the document. Remember, right-click, update field, update entire table, OK. The next couple of pages contains information about the best practice cycle, outlines aims and objectives of the BCP, in addition to risk types and incident phases. The flowchart on the next page outlines the immediate alerting and activation procedure for a BC incident. This has been made generic to work across all services, but may need amending to suit yours. This should be the page that your red box on the front cover refers to. Section 4. Business Continuity Mitigation Arrangements. This table should link clearly to the BIA. The first column, you will need to include the dependency as per your BIA. So for example, dependency 1 in the BIA is clinical staff at critical level. The next column should outline the impact that may be experienced should the incident occur. Action mitigation, the action that needs to be taken to either mitigate or respond to an incident affecting the dependency. The information should be as high level as more detail should be found on a corresponding action card that we will come on to. By whom or the individual that should carry out the actions, usually a senior member or most senior member of staff on the shift. Each dependency in the table should have its own corresponding action card located in the appendix, which will need to be referenced in this column here. Once this has been completed, you should have a high-level table with all dependencies from your BIA, which then reference more detail in the appendix action cards. We will continue through the documents first and finish with the action cards later on. The incident response checklist does not need to be filled out, but can be used as a tool to assist in the immediate response to a BC incident. Section 6 outlines roles and responsibilities of different personnel in business continuity. The next 2 pages are further tools to utilise during an incident and not to be filled out prior. They include a personal decision log and SITREP template. After a glossary of terms, you should then come to the appendix where your action cards should be stored. You may also decide to add other documentation in the appendix, for example, staff contact details, materials and tools from other documents or SOPs, internal processes, etc. Within the appendix, you'll see the Trust Standard Action Card template. These will need to match up with a dependency reference in a table you have filled out previously in the document. This can be filled out here. You must insert the title of the action card, the incident role or incident job title, who the role is performed by, who that person or service is accountable to during a BC incident, and the incident role location. You must include high-level responsibilities related to this incident or dependency. The orange boxes should match the incident role and accountable to section. Insert your version number and date. And now you can detail your actions/steps to take in the event of an incident of this dependency nature. Try to make each step especially clear so that someone who is picking this action card up for the first time easily understands what they need to do. Once you have updated your table of contents, you can return to the front cover and insert the page number to turn to for immediate activation of the plan. That is now both your documents complete. In summary, you have now analysed your service, highlighting critical functions and dependencies in the BIA, and have seamlessly transferred that over into your business continuity plan, where you have outlined high-level mitigation arrangements in the table and put this in more detail in the action cards in the appendix. Thank you for watching this video. If you do need further support, please don't hesitate to contact us on epo.mtw@nhs.net and we'll be more than happy to help.